Welcome to the INL. How many people haven't been here before? Raise your hand. Okay. All right, so you're most of it familiar. Thanks for bringing along the great weather with you. Summer's starting a little bit earlier here in the Arco Desert. That's good, and I hope you have a chance to absorb some of the environment while you're here, not just for this. We got a full day scheduled, as I said, so and I'll try to stick to it as much as we can. My name is Hans Gougar. I am the Director of the Advanced Reactor Technologies Department here at the INL and the National Technical Director for the Gas-Cooled Reactor Campaign for DOE. Got a lot of distinguished guests here and colleagues and friends. We're among friends here, or at least colleagues, or maybe competitors. That's great. That's fantastic. Let's get moving. The theme of this little workshop symposium is resilient, reliable, and ready. I actually stole that little slogan from Dave Petty, my predecessor, and I think it really characterizes the technology that we're dealing with. We know it. I won't belabor the point, but there are some points that it raises in the current market. Some preliminaries before we get started here. In the case we have to evacuate the building, an alarm or otherwise, you can go out either door in the back and assemble around the west side here facing the K's building over there. Please don't eat, drink, chew, smoke, whatever while you're in the assembly or in the evacuation. And please don't get in your car and drive off, no matter how the symposium starts to turn out. Stick around. Restrooms are back there. If you haven't found them already, off the lobby, Di will direct you. She's the one manning the guard desk. Presentations will be made available on the ART website that you see up there. Also, this is being recorded via Blue Jean. Some people really were disappointed that they are missing this today, and they wanted to be able to go back and watch the presentation. So we are recording it, and we'll make it available through the website, and you can watch later on. It also means don't say anything that you don't want immortalized on the internet. We have Wi-Fi in here, instructions there. I know that'll be important for many of you. We have a number of staff here to help. Jody Volmer in the back, raise your hand if you need help. Joe has been very helpful with our multimedia displays. We've got some things going on during the break and during the lunch period and all that you might want to check out. Di Russell, I already mentioned, is at the desk. They've been helping me put on this. And Diane Croson, my deputy, has also been instrumental in the organization of the event. I'm trying to spread the blame. Please silence your cell phones at this time. If you have to take a call, take them out of the lobby, please. Just a brief pitch. If you're going to be around tonight and have nothing else planned, stop at the American Legion Hall right downtown in Idaho Falls. A face very familiar to us is coming back to be the guest at that dinner. Kathy will be talking about differences and similarities of our labs and the Canadian lab. Check that out. It's like $25 a head at the door. $20 if you register online. Okay, some of you have been asking, what's this all about, this little symposium I'm putting on? That's a fair question. We have advanced reactor working group meetings. We have technology working group meetings. We have the 2018 HTR conference coming up in Poland in October. We just finished a program review. We have A&S conferences. You might be thinking, like, this is just another event that I have to go to and spend my meager travel funds on. I relate to that, and I thank you for trusting enough in me to say, yeah, I think we should go to this. So thank you very much for showing up. Also thanks to Jeff and X Energy. They, in addition to providing some interesting, nice posters on high temperature reactor technology out on display in the hall, they also helped put us in touch with one of our guest speakers, Mr. McGowan today, who, as far as I can see, he's here. Did you see him? Haven't seen him yet, but we'll keep an eye out. So Jeff, thanks very much. This is an interesting time for nuclear energy. I don't think I have to tell anybody that. Regular announcements of imminent closures of plants that are operating reliably and have had their debts retired are still being shut down prematurely. Some people are thinking that it's the twilight of nuclear energy. Others, on the other hand, see a tremendous opportunity, and there are people in here that can be counted in that group. The folks at Gain, Rita's over there, they're trying to keep track of all the little startups out there, and I think the list is growing. It's well over 50 by now, maybe higher. Not quite? No, okay. I think the number is pretty high compared to the small number of mega vendors that comprised the nuclear landscape 20 years ago. It's a much different picture. True entrepreneurs don't look around and look at a market and see how they can fill it. They create a market by creating a product that people didn't realize they couldn't do without. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, who knew that they could not live without a smartphone in their pocket? Me. Maybe 15 years from now, companies will be wondering, how could I have gotten by without a high temperature reactor? We'll see. Could be what's happening here. Yes, at least for this meeting, I was partially motivated by the buzz generated by the molten salt reactor concept workshops that have been being held at Oak Ridge, sponsored by Oak Ridge the last few years. It really kind of created a buzz in the industry, and that suggested to me that there's a latent desire and interest in advanced nuclear that we haven't seen in decades. The 60s and 70s, it was around. It kind of died off. Many in young generation appear not to have the jaded view of nuclear technology that was instilled in some of us by our teachers and thought leaders while we were growing up. So maybe there's something happening here. So there's a fair amount of media buzz about advanced reactor concepts that's very heartening, and we want to tap into that. But some of you may have the impression that a high temperature, gas-cooled, graphite-moderated reactor isn't getting its fair shake in this buzz that's going around. Perhaps so, but is that our fault? Is that a fault of the technology? I'm not sure, but it could be partly due to the fact that we, the HTGR community, are a bit reluctant to make unsubstantiated claims about our technology. We have a relatively mature technology as advanced reactors go. I was part of it, but I was alive at least. We did Peach Bottom, Fort St. Vrain, THTR. We know that making money with a radically new power plant design is really hard work. It's really hard work. The people in this room know that a superior technology, that this is a superior technology, and we're rather passionate about it, quite passionate about it. But we're not fooling ourselves. Fort St. Vrain had a lousy availability factor. THTR might have done better, but they pulled the plug on it only after about 18 months. I think Hans Wolfgang will talk about it at lunchtime. I'm looking forward to that. And we can't use high enriched uranium and thorium anymore anyway, at least not in this political climate. Modern HTGR concepts will still be more expensive than the AP1000 or comparable established technology. The fuel is expensive and it's tough to make, as we've heard on the last couple days. And we're not holding our collective breath waiting for a first order from Southern Company or ConocoPhillips or Dow Chemical to supply them steam for their process needs. It's not going to happen in the near future. So it's tough. While others claim that their reactor concept can be built for 2,000 kilowatt hours for $2,000 per kilowatt hour electric installed. Others claim that they can have a reactor up and running in 5 to 7 years, or that their plant will burn uranium 70 times more efficiently than light water reactors. We don't make such claims. We won't say these things because we're not fooling ourselves, let alone anybody else. We have a superior technology, but a superior technology deserves a superior level of discourse That's what this meeting is about. That's what I'm expecting. A frank and honest and open discussion of the real challenges and real opportunities for the technology. I'm hoping to hear about some great designs and technologies that some of our vendor friends here are putting together. That's part of this, and that's great. I always look to hear about them. But we know that there are no silver bullets. To make this technology work will require a lot of creative thinking, a lot of hard work, and a lot of out-of-the-box thinking. And a good sales pitch to investors, such that one that can survive a good due diligence review. That's not easy. There are signs of technical maturity here, and they're represented in this audience. X-Energy won another federal contract, not to build or continue their work on their plant, but to build a fuel fabrication facility. And in case you're wondering, Clay Richardson's out here reminded us on Tuesday that rumors of BWXT's departure from the fuel fabrication business might be greatly exaggerated. That's good news. So we might have, in the fairly near future, 2 fuel fabrication companies, TRISO fuel fabrication companies, and nobody's even ordered a plant yet. That's a sign of maturity and optimism as far as I'm concerned. We have a handful of vendors here represented here that, even though they all use the same fuel and graphite concepts developed under this DOE program we're involved in, they're displaying a fair amount of creativity in their designs. We even have an alternative coolant represented here. Perry will be talking to us a little bit later. I think it's a great time to be a doublehead or a blockhead, if you prefer. We're entering a phase where the need to attract capital and protect intellectual property will inhibit open discussions among potential competitors and collaborators. That's fine. Before we get too deeply into it, however, I want to capture the opportunity to hear some alternative perspectives and contemplate additional ways that we collectively can use the attributes, the high temperature, the inherent safety features of high temperature reactors to further reduce costs and open up new markets. I know you've done a lot of thinking about it. That's why you got into this technology in the first place. But let's use this opportunity to brainstorm even more and think about other ways we can even take it further in design, in licensing, in staffing, in the use of standards, markets, and so on. So think out of the box, and we'll try to recapture and record your comments today. I'll have a brief survey ask you to fill out either on paper today, or we'll put it on a website and send it out electronically, so you can fill that out. Tell us what was great about this, what you'd like to see done again. I'm thinking of having another one in October of next year opposite the HTR conference series, so that we're not competing with that activity. Please take a minute and fill that out when you can. Before I leave, I need to acknowledge and thank Rita and the GAIN folks for sponsoring Descent for us, providing the lunch, providing help with getting our guest speakers in. So thank you, Rita, and